The evolution update was supposed to bring life back to Clash Royale. Instead, it burned everything down. Cards broke the rules.
What the freak?
It survives the prince!
That's so broken, dude.
Balance disappeared.
These are jokes, right? How does that connect, bro?
And the meta, never the same. Here's every broken evolution in Clash Royale ever. Number 1. Evolved Skellies. When evolutions first dropped in June of 2023, 4 cards led the charge: Barbarians, Royal Giant, Firecracker, and Skeletons. And Skeletons, they were supposed to be a joke. 3 little bones, no HP, no real damage. Harmless, right? Well,
Wake
wrong.
up to reality.
Because at launch, evolved skeletons spawned instantly, so fast that sometimes not even Zap or Log could stop them. Their initial attack speed just 0.4 seconds. It sounds small, but that fraction made them 25% faster than they are today. And they didn't spawn 3 skeletons, they spawned 4. Imagine 4 instantly spawned bones swarming your tanks, shredding your tower, ending matches in seconds. The only thing keeping them somewhat balanced was their 3-card cycle requirement, but that balance didn't last. Just 2 months later, Clash Royale reduced the requirement from 3 cycles to 2, and suddenly evolved skeletons were everywhere.
Oh, beautiful Evo Skellies prediction. We should be okay. Oh, the Evo Skellies. Let's go. Way too good.
They weren't just support anymore, they became win conditions. Paired with Royal Hogs, they were unstoppable. One mistake, one tiny overcommitment, and you'd watch helplessly as 2 waves of evolved Skellies obliterated your lanes in an instant. Today, they're nerfed, slower, easier to handle, but if you played Clash Royale in 2023, you remember the terror. Number 2. Evolved Ice Spirit. At launch, the Evolved Ice Spirit was a mess, practically unusable. You needed 3 cycles just to trigger its evolution, a nightmare even for Hog 2.6 players, let alone heavier decks. It was just dead on arrival. But just 1 week later, Clash Royale dropped that requirement from 3 cycles down to 2. And overnight, Evolved Ice Spirit became terrifyingly viable. Normal Ice Spirit was already the king of cheap control, but Evolved, it was absurd. Instead of a single stun, it unleashed 3 consecutive blasts, each freezing enemy troops for 1.2 seconds. That being 3.6 seconds in total. You basically got a full freeze spell for 1 elixir. Its only flaw was the tiny 1.5 tile radius, making multi-target hits tricky. But 3 months later, even that was fixed with a radius buff to 2 tiles. And suddenly Ice Spirit exploded in popularity. It dominated ladder, challenges, CRL, everywhere. Eventually, Clash Royale had to act, and in 2025, they removed the 3rd stun blast, boosting damage by 48% to compensate. The nerf helped, but barely. Today, the Evolved Ice Spirit isn't quite the monster it once was, yet it remains one of the strongest cycle cards in the game. It's not going anywhere, and players who have faced it at its peak still flinch every time it hits the arena. Number 3. Evolved Bomber. When the Evolved Bomber first landed, Clash Royale lost its mind. Initially, it was even more absurd. A version previewed to content creators had enough health to survive arrows. Yes, a 2 elixir card tanking arrows. Thankfully, creators pushed back and Supercell dialed it down before launch, but even the nerfed version? Ridiculous. It needed only 1 cycle to evolve. Every second bomber was evolved. A cheap, relentless, explosive nightmare. Its bombs bounced 3 tiles, like a cheaper Magic Archer, but better, because each bounce dealt damage multiple times. Troops, towers, nothing was safe. Players quickly swapped Magic Archer out for the beloved Bomber entirely. You couldn't ignore it, you had to respond instantly or watch chunks of tower HP vanish from a single 2 elixir unit.
For activation off it. Okay, is that on tower? Easily. Okay, that's Tower down.
Oh, he's gonna Evo Bomber me too. Okay. I see how it is. And you've evolved to be running Tornado with it. Oh my gosh. How much damage did I just take?
Supercell had no choice but to nerf it. Repeatedly. First, the cycle requirement was raised from 1 to 2, then came damage nerfs, bounce range reductions, and finally, they removed the stacking damage entirely. Today, Evo Bomber is still strong, still splashy, but the chaotic days of constant bouncing devastation are over, and honestly, that is probably a good thing. But if you thought that was bad, just wait until later in the video. There's an evolution that didn't just punish swarms, it fed on them. Number 4. Evolved Zap. It was supposed to just be a spell, but when Evolved Zap dropped, it became a death sentence for half the cards in the game. Once cast, 3 pulses, each one stronger than the last, spreading wider, hitting harder, and before you could blink, your magic archer or mother witch, gone. The first pulse zapped a tight group, the second reached further, the third, just look at that. And all of them did full zap damage. For 2 elixir.
And he might be dead. And look guys, we have our Evo Zap too. We can just zap on the tower. It's gonna stun it for so long. Evo Zap is so good. Good game.
Sparky couldn't charge, Magic Archer couldn't line up, low HP splash cards just vanished, entire archetypes disappeared overnight. The card was so busted, pros started calling it a freeze, a fireball, and a zap all rolled into one. It took Supercell 2 months to step in. First, they cut the second and third pulse damage in half. Then they realized, well, that wasn't enough and deleted the third pulse entirely. To keep its identity, they doubled the second pulse's damage. It was fairer, but still dangerous. Even after the nerfs, Evolved Zap remained one of the best cycle spells in the game. It cleaned up troops, chipped towers, reset charges, and made decks feel just a little safer to run. But if you were in those first weeks, you remember how it felt to lose a full push to one tiny blinking spell. Number 5. Evolved Wall Breakers. When the Evolved Wall Breakers were first released in early 2024, everyone had the same reaction. What in the actual game-breaking madness is this? These weren't just stronger wall breakers, they were something else entirely. For 2 elixir, you got explosive tanks, mini win conditions, and even defensive tools all packed into a single card. So here's how they worked. At full health, the Evolved Wall Breakers charged forward inside massive barrels. If the barrels got destroyed early, they exploded, dealing solid splash damage to everything nearby, and then released a smaller version called the Runner, which kept running and could still hit the tower. And if you didn't destroy those barrels in time, they connected fully and dealt over 600 tower damage, followed by the Runner for an extra 200. That is nearly 900 damage from a 2 elixir card.
Evo Wall Breakers at the bridge. Let's see what they got. Evo Wall Breakers at the bridge. If he doesn't do anything, that's going to be an insane amount of... Oh my gosh, bro.
Even worse, they survived arrows. The runners had just enough health to live through chip spells, and their death explosions shredded defending troops like skeletons, archers, or minions. Defending wrong for even a second meant your entire push was gone. Cheap counters didn't work either. Not Ice Spirit, not Skeletons. You needed a building or you were done. And that's when it became obvious. Clash Royale had just introduced a card that forced a building meta. It didn't matter what cycle deck you ran. The Evo Wall Breakers worked everywhere. Miner, poison, balloon, split lane control, synergy did not matter. Just drop them and watch towers disappear. And the worst part, they were only a 2-cycle evolution. Meanwhile, cards like Ice Spirit started with 3 cycles. Supercell clearly knew what they were doing, hook casual players with something busted, and then patch it later. Eventually they did. By May of 2024, Supercell nerfed the runner's damage by 50%, increased their speed, and removed bonus barrel impact damage. Yet, of course, the chaos persisted. Even more nerfs followed, lower tower damage, slightly reduced stats, but today they still threaten towers and push every misplay. If you played Clash Royale in 2024, you know exactly what I mean. One misstep and boom. Tower gone. Evolved Wall Breakers didn't just chip damage, they caused panic. Number 6. Evolved Archers. Evolved Archers were one of the biggest surprises in Clash Royale's evolution era. At first glance, they didn't look broken. No explosions, no chain stuns, no giant stats, just archers. But once players discovered their power shot, everything changed. Here's how it worked. When Evolved Archers hit targets from 5 tiles or more away, they unleashed a charged shot, dealing double damage. Combine this with a ridiculous 6.5 tile range, even longer than Royal Giant, and suddenly you had a 3 elixir unit deleting entire pushes from the safety of your side. And they survived arrows. That alone flipped matchups completely. Firecracker, minions, Dark Goblin, gone instantly. In split lane pushes, Evolved Archers sniped both sides simultaneously. Left unchecked, a single archer could shred an entire tower.
We've got the Wall Breakers. We've got the Little Prince. No, we don't. We got the Wall Breakers, the Little Prince, and the Evolved Archers. Evolved Archers will tank that. Oh my god, look at the damage they're doing to that tower. Holy, oh, I should have used the ability. I was just so I was geeking out looking at the Evolved Archers. They did a shit ton of damage. Oh my god.
Alright guys, to start off, here's a short clip of them just showcasing how broken they are. So the Archers lock on top of the mortar, they're dealing double damage, killing it very, very quickly. Hog Rider coming in, the Hog doesn't even get a single shot, arrows come in, which, as I already said, it's not enough to kill the Evolved Archers. The Knight just gets wrecked, doesn't even stand a chance of reaching them. The Ice Spirit's the only thing taking for them, it freezes the tower, and with that, it allows the Evolved Archers to take over half the tower. Look at how much damage they do to things like Balloon and Lava Hound. They absolutely wreck them in comparison to what they did before. They also outrange things like the Inferno Tower now, and they are perfect for sniping troops like the Knight when you're running Expo. And because you can split the Archers, they're of course going to be very good against split lane pushes such as Royal Hogs and Royal Recruits.
Cycle decks loved them. 2.6 Hog swapped Musketeer, Expo players used them to melt counters, and minor wall breaker decks abused them relentlessly. Their only weakness, troops placed directly on top of them. Drop a Knight or a Valk quickly enough and you might shut them down, but often it was already too late. The community quickly demanded nerfs and Supercell responded. December 2023 saw their power shot damage reduced. January of 2024 nerfed their range and made power shots harder to trigger. But then, confusingly, in May of 2024, Supercell restored their original double damage power shot, though removing extra hit points, making them vulnerable to arrows once again. Today, Evolved Archers aren't as oppressive as before, but they are still one of the highest value cards around. They're not flashy, they don't explode, but every Clash Royale player knows exactly how scary they can be. Number 7. Evolved Knight. When Evolved Knight was first revealed, the community had no idea just how insane this card would become.
What other card can do that?
133 people in the top 200 are using Evo Knight.
A faster, stronger, tankier version of a classic. Sure, that sounded powerful, but this was something else. At launch in August 2023, the Evolved Knight had
30% more health, 10% more damage, and attacks 0.3 seconds faster. It deals 45% more damage per second.
But that wasn't even the scary part. While moving, the Evolved Knight took 80% less damage. 80%. You would drop Musketeers, Sparky, even a mirrored minion horde, and this thing would just walk on through it, barely scratched.
I'm not going to play the Evolved Knight in the right, because I can play it in the left. Guys, watch this. Look at me go. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Evolved Knight. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's perfect. No human has been crafted as well as the Evolved Knight. It's the ultimate specimen. Go! Take the tower. Oh my god. It's glorious. Never stop. Keep going, young one. Keep going. All the way. Take it all. It's you. It's you. It's you. It's you. Do it. Do it. Alright, perfect. Okay. First Evolved Knight I can say was a success. Now, I want this man to suffer. If he wants to give up, he can.
On defense, he was nearly immortal. On offense, it was a walking win condition. all for just 3 elixir. He didn't counter Sparky, he tanked 2 full hits and still reached the tower. Expo? Forget it. If the Knight was on the field, your win condition was basically useless. Graveyard players loved him, logbait players abused him, and in decks like Mortar or Miner Wall Breaker, he was the perfect tank, taking forever to kill and dishing out way more DPS than he should. But of course, the nerfs came. Just 2 weeks after release, his damage reduction was cut from 80% down to 60%. Then in October, his hit points got nerfed again and again and again. Over the next year, he got slower, weaker, and less tanky. His attack speed slowed, his bonuses vanished, and with every patch, the once unstoppable Knight slowly lost his shine. By mid-2024, the Evolved Knight had been through 6 separate nerfs. Supercell had clearly realized what they had created, and tried to walk it back step by step. And yet, even after all of that, he is still good. Why? Well, because his shield mechanic is still one of the most unique and useful in the game. If you keep him moving, he can survive things that would normally instantly delete any other troop, but if he stops, even for a second, it's all over. That makes him tricky, tactical, and still terrifying in the right hands. The Evo Knight isn't the broken monster he used to be, but if you played Clash Royale in late 2023, you remember. And if you think this was the peak of absurd defense, later in the video we're delving into a card that didn't just survive swarms, it thrived the more you sent at it. Number 8. Evolved Cannon. When Evolved Cannon was first revealed, most players shrugged. Another building, cool I guess, but then people saw it in action, and everything changed. This wasn't a cannon, this was a bombing run. After being placed, the Evolved Cannon triggered a delayed barrage, raining explosive shells over a massive 2.5 tile radius. It knocked back troops, dealt splash damage, and erased entire pushes before they even began. Suddenly, Cannon wasn't just a cheap cycle building, it became an offensive trap. Hog pushes supported by Cannon? Devastating. Predictive bridge placements? Game-ending. Top players started playing it aggressively, placing it high, forcing awkward responses, and turning defense into pressure. Hog Cycle, Royal Hogs, Earthquake, even Minor Control started running it just to apply fear. But it wasn't perfect. If you missed your prediction, the delay punished you hard. Some called it inconsistent, others said it felt more like a mortar evolution than a cannon, but if you were accurate, it hit like a truck. Supercell doubled down, buffing its damage in January of 2025. Then came the nerf. In May, its barrage radius was reduced from 2.5 tiles to 2, a subtle change, but it did hurt. Less coverage, fewer splash hits, tighter timing required. Still, the card remains controversial. Some say it's overpowered, others say it's unreliable. But one thing is for sure, when it lands, it doesn't just hit, it punishes. Number 9. Evolved Firecracker. When the Evolved Firecracker was first revealed in June of 2023, nobody really knew what to expect. At first glance, she looked just like a slightly stronger version of the original. More health, a wider pushback, a bit of extra flair. But the moment she fired, people realized what they were actually dealing with. Every shot from the Evolved Firecracker left behind lingering sparks, little clouds of crackling energy that stayed on the field, dealing damage over time and even slowing troops by 15%. And just like that, she went from a support card to a semi-win condition.
So when they first released the Firecracker evolution, I didn't realize, but she can deal 1,000 damage with every one of these little circles and the main circle stacking planted right at the bridge. That's so busted. Bridge spamming her is basically auto win. 2,000 damage on the tower with everything tanking. Nothing's even getting through. Just the fact that she's hitting that peck. Oh my god.
In single lane matchups, she shredded pushes before they could cross the bridge. In double lane pressure, she punished players who dared to stack support units. And on defense, if you gave her time to stack, even just 1 or 2 shots, she could lock down entire sides of the arena. She was slippery, annoying, and insanely hard to kill. Arrows didn't work, her HP was too high. Poison, useless since the enemy troops were already stuck walking through her spark clouds.
Oh, this Firecracker, though. Oh, boy. Yo, you good, dog? That must have hurt, man. Oh, that hurts even more, I bet. Oh, that hurts even more. Bro, his tower's gone.
Oh my gosh, we actually got it to reach the tower. And he poisoned that, so now he doesn't have it for the Firecracker. I guess he'll have to bar barrel it, maybe. Wait, the Firecracker lived. There's no way. There's no way. We got it, I think. Oh my gosh. What? The Evolved Firecracker's broken. How? That's just not fair.
Early on, it was chaos. Evolved Firecracker was everywhere. Hog Cycle, Minor Poison, Logabait, even Lava Loon started running her to force out bad spell trades. But the balance team was watching. In August 2023, she got her first nerf, reduced HP and a shorter knockback. Then in May 2024, they made a major change. They removed her HP boost but buffed her sparks. The big spark now lasted 3 seconds, the small spark 2.5, and every spark now slowed enemies. And that's when things got really crazy. She didn't need high DPS. She was the DPS. You'd drop her behind a Mighty Miner or Hog Rider and suddenly you had a control machine, slowing everything, dealing chip damage, and forcing spells just to keep your tower alive. Players built entire cycle decks just to rotate back to her faster. And if you gave her a 3-card cycle with a champion, oh gosh, she would just keep coming back over and over and over, stacking sparks like mini poisons on both lanes. She didn't instantly win games, but over time her pressure built up. One missed prediction, one bad spell, and suddenly you were facing a spark-stacked Firecracker melting your tower from across the river. Even today, she's one of the most irritating evolutions in the game. Number 10. Evolved Battle Ram. When the Evolved Battle Ram dropped in April of 2024, players were confused. It looked like the same old card, 2 barbarians charging with a log glued to the front, but then it hit the tower, and hit again, and again, and again. That's when the panic set in. This wasn't a one-hit wonder like the original Battle Ram. This was a relentless battering ram, charging repeatedly until either you stopped it or watched your tower crumble. And of course, it got worse.
Here we go. Little Prince coming in. We're going to pop this ability. He's going to deal with the goblins. We're going to go arrows for the Skarmy. Oh, we hit the Skarmy. Okay. It's time to get the Evo Zap cooking. Oh, the battle. The battle ram. The battle ram. No way, bro. What the frick? Bro, there's no way the battle ram just did all that, bro. Oh my god, that card is so busted.
On this lane. All right, Carl, what are you going to do about that, buddy? Squirt. All right, let's see this tombstone. Oh! What? That was ridiculous. What did I just watch, dude? What the fuck did I just watch?
When the log finally broke apart, 2 evolved barbarians emerged, not just stronger, but angrier. For 3 seconds, they got a huge attack speed boost, turning into mini lumberjacks with abs. Players threw everything at it, goblins, skeleton army, mini Pekka, but it just ran them all over. At one point, it even knocked back tanks. The community screamed and Supercell reacted swiftly. In May of 2024, Evolved Barbarians took a health nerf, their rage duration shortened, and the ram lost its tank knockback. But even today, it's still terrifying. You cannot kite it. It keeps charging even after hitting buildings. Swarming does not help. It crushes skeletons and goblins without breaking stride. Stalling doesn't work either. Once it's bouncing, you're already too late. Only specific hard counters like Electro Wizard, Ram Rider, or Ice Spirit plus Mini Pekka reliably stop it. Without those, you're kinda just doomed. So no, the Evolved Battle Ram is not balanced, but it is incredibly satisfying, because when it hits your tower, bounces repeatedly, and finally drops 2 furious barbarians, it is pure Clash Royale chaos. And honestly, we kinda love it.
the freeze. What the hell did it just kill? Look at that damage. What am I witnessing right now? That's gonna take the tower. Evo Knight ain't saving you, bro. How is it still going? And now we have 2 Evo Bombs. This is OP. Almost kills the Evo Knight.
Number 11. Evolved Tesla. When Evolved Tesla first rose from the ground, everything stopped. Quite literally.
Spirits were made for. Perfect. Okay. Okay, come on. So the stun will reset it right onto the Tesla. Yes! We've done it, guys. We've done it. We've got the unstoppable combo in Clash Royale. Wahoo! Oh my god!
It unleashed a massive 6-tile pulse, stunning every single troop in range. Wall breakers gone, graveyard denied, minions, tank swarms, didn't matter. If it moved, it got zapped. And then it did it again on death. 1 pop to stop the push, 1 more to make sure nothing survived. It wasn't flashy, it didn't demand attention, but it silenced entire win conditions. If you were running Expo, it bought you time. If you were playing Drill Cycle, it gave you breathing room. If you were defending a double lane split push, it saved your life. At its peak, you didn't even need perfect placement. Just drop it in the middle and the enemy's entire strategy froze in place. Supercell acted fast. May of 2024, its bonus HP was removed. To June, its pulse damage was nerfed by 23%, and its stun time was cut in half. July, it had a slower hit speed, and they reduced its base damage. October, that death pulse, well, they removed it entirely. But even after that, the Tesla was not dead, because when it popped up and stunned everything in sight, even for just half a second, it still felt like magic. And if you thought that was disruptive, the very next evolution flipped defense on its head. It didn't stun, it didn't splash, it just kept coming back, wave after wave, until your tower was gone. Number 12. Evolved Goblin Drill. Evolved Goblin Drill might be the most chaotic evolution Clash Royale has ever released. At first glance, it seemed familiar. Same drill, same cost, same pesky goblins. But then its new mechanic kicked in. Multiple resurfaces. Instead of popping up just once, it tunneled 3 separate times, each spawning another wave of goblins. 3 waves of goblins, 3 urgent threats your opponent had to handle, or watch their tower melt away. Players quickly realized the horror. Valkyrie? Not enough. Dark Prince? Still not enough. You needed at least 2 splash counters, perfectly timed, or your tower vanished. Pro players dubbed it better than Rocket. 4 drills meant a guaranteed tower. Even worse, Evolved Drill fit everywhere. Drill plus Wall Breakers, Drill plus Mighty Miner, Drill Cycle, it did not matter. Each resurface ignored building placements, popping up directly on towers like an unstoppable horror movie villain. Supercell saw this coming, pre-nerfing even before its launch. Fewer goblins spawned, delayed timings, capped damage, but the card stayed dominant. Opponents regularly had to spend 5 to 6 elixir just to defend against this 4 elixir nightmare. And it still leaked damage. It wasn't just strong, it was disruptive. Evolved Drill punished hesitation, punished slow decks, punished even tiny mistakes. You didn't just lose towers, you lost control. And that's exactly what made it unforgettable. Number 13. Evolved Royal Giant. Evolved Royal Giant never crept into the meta quietly. He announced himself loudly with every single cannon blast. 1 cycle, that is all it took. Drop a regular RG and your next one evolved. No build up, no delay, just a golden armored tower killer with golem level health and recoil blasts that knocked back everything nearby. Mini Pekka? Well, gone. Lumberjack? Out of range. Swarms? Obliterated. It was like giving a tank a shotgun and letting it shoot from a distance. Top players started spamming him in lightning-fast cycle decks. At one point, half the top 10 players on the ladder were using nearly identical RG decks. Supercell stepped in. Slowly. 130% HP, cut, then to 120%, then to 110. Eventually, the bonus health disappeared altogether, but the knockback stayed, and that was the part that really mattered. Today, the Evolved Royal Giant isn't the same monster he once was, but once he locks on, your tower doesn't just lose health, it gets blasted. Number 14, Evolved Royal Recruits. Evolved Royal Recruits are the most chaotic kind of problem. Not flashy, not explosive, just relentless. 6 tanks marching down both lanes, and once their shields pop, they charge forward like a cavalry brigade. That's their gimmick. Lose the shield, and after just 2 tiles of movement, each recruit charges. Exactly like a prince. Double damage, stun potential. All 6 at once? That's not a push, it's a panic attack. And here's the scary part. They're only one cycle. Play any recruit, and the next one comes evolved. No delay, no build-up. At 7 Elixir, of course, they're not cheap, but that's what made them perfect for fireball bait and split lane decks. Defend with shielded recruits, watch the shields break, then unleash 6 angry princes tearing through the arena. They didn't seem broken initially, just solid. Slightly more HP, same shields, massive charge damage, but once players learned how to use them defensively, waiting patiently before counter-pushing, it was game over. Suddenly, Valkyrie alone wasn't enough. You needed perfect splash placement, distraction troops, spacing, and luck to prevent them from obliterating your towers. Supercell stepped in quickly, carefully nerfing their damage, health, and charge mechanics. Each patch softened them just slightly, taming that chaos without killing the fun entirely. Today, Evolved Royal Recruits remain powerful and dangerous, but manageable. Just don't let them lose their shields at the bridge, because then you're no longer facing recruits. You're facing 6 furious princes charging straight at your towers. And if you thought 6 charging princes was bad, there's one evolution later in this video that doesn't need 6 units. It just needs 1 to wipe out your entire push and come back stronger every time. Number 15, Evolved Wizard. When Evolved Wizard dropped, no one was impressed. Just a wizard with a shield, they said. And then he exploded. Literally. Evolved Wizard came with a fire shield, an extra 371 HP that detonated when broken. The explosion dealt 231 damage in a small radius, knocking back everything around him. Suddenly, that little shield flipped dozens of interactions. You couldn't fireball plus zap him anymore. The shield would survive, explode, and wipe out minions, bats, spirits, and even evolved bats. And with the knockback, he wasn't just splash, he was disruption. He stopped charges, resetting targeting, bought enough time to throw out another spell. The wizard wasn't just useful against swarms, he was lethal to them. For a while, he showed up in everything. Pekka decks, graveyard, giant control, even splash-heavy off-meta builds found room for him. He was just tanky enough to annoy and just versatile enough to fit anywhere. Then came the balance swings. Shield buffed, then gutted, knockback range shorted, explosion damage reduced, HP tweaked a dozen times. And today, he's not the menace he once was. But during his prime, he warped matchups. Quietly and consistently. And when that shield popped, it wasn't just damage. It was a warning.
Enough is enough. Time for the wizard. I'm so excited right now. Here comes the Evo Wizard, and he puts bombers. Yo, the knockback, and look at the damage it did. That bomber bailed him out. Decent damage, though. Okay, we back to another Evo Wizard. He's switching lanes. This might be the juiciest wizard ever. Oh.
Number 16, Evolved Electro Dragon. At first, it looked the same. Same triple zap, same stun, same floaty movement, but then you dropped it into a swarm and watched the entire push disappear.
Let's play the Evolved Electro Dragon here and see how this goes with Lava Loon. Huh, okay. Didn't really expect him to be playing Lava Loon, but I guess we'll see how the E-Drag goes. What? Wait, what? I'm so confused. Wait, it is infinite. It literally... Okay, how does this go? What? Wait, what the fuck? That's ridiculous.
Evolved Electro Dragon didn't stop at 3 targets. Its Chain Lightning kept going. 10 units, zap. 15, still zapping. 20, well, everything fried. And it got worse, because the chains could bounce off the same target multiple times. The more units you gave it, the stronger it became. Skeleton army, minions, goblin gang, witch, all gone in seconds. It turned defense into annihilation. Golem decks loved it. Giant Graveyard thrived with it. Even Royal Giant decks ran it just to vaporize support troops before they could blink. And on offense, it was a nightmare. You couldn't tank through it, you couldn't surround it, you couldn't even distract it properly. The more you tried, the more you fed it. Supercell stepped in during January of 2025, nerfing its post-third jump damage by 33%. The Infinite Chain finally had a limit. But even now, in the right matchup, Evolved Electro Dragon feels unfair, because sometimes all it takes is one chain to end everything. Number 17, Evolved Goblin Giant. It started as a meme, a 6 elixir tank that spawned stab goblins, but only after losing half of its HP. Not a flashy mechanic, no splash, no burst, just goblins, one by one, like a weird slow motion piñata. But then, something changed. He started snowballing.
It could still be a decent card. Okay, we're not defending our tower here. I guess we just have to try to go for his tower and hopefully get a tower trade here. I feel like we should get a tower trade. I don't really see him stopping our Evo Goblin Giant very easily. We could just curse here, then try to get our Zap down. Yeah, we're definitely taking tower. Okay, it is spawning goblins. It is spawning goblins now. Look, it just constantly spawns goblins so quickly too. Look how quickly this is. Look, there's a whole army. Yo, there's a whole army. No, our king tower. We just lost. Oh, we didn't lose. We just won.
Back in July of 2024, he spawned goblins every 1.5 seconds. And those goblins, they attacked faster than usual. The longer he lived, the more he spawned, and suddenly this goofy card became relentless. You'd watch it in real time. He'd cross the bridge, 1 spear goblin, then 2, then 5, and before you knew it, you were staring at a full goblin gang behind a giant green battering ram. And you had no splash in cycle. It wasn't a push, it was a setup. The kind that punished hesitation, punished mid-ladder decks, and melted towers chip by chip. Supercell hit him with surgical nerfs. First, the goblins lost their fast attack. Then the spawn rate slowed to 1.8 seconds, and nothing dramatic, just enough to break that tempo. And over time, he faded. From Sleeper Menace to Balanced Bruiser. But don't be fooled. Evolved Goblin Giant still punishes mistakes. He's quiet, he's patient, and he doesn't need to explode to end your game. He just wears you down. Number 18, Evolved Lumberjack. It dies, then it keeps fighting. No, seriously, Evolved Lumberjack doesn't just go down swinging. It comes back from the dead. At first glance, it's the same card, fast, raged, fragile. But when he dies, he respawns as a ghost, invisible, invulnerable, and still dealing full damage. Poison, useless. Earthquake, laughable. Goblin Curse, phases right through it. And if he's standing in a rage spell when he dies, he stays alive even longer.
Alright, I'm gonna go for the freeze here, because if he nados that to the king tower, then we can rage to keep the Evo Lumberjack alive, because after it dies, it's gonna turn into a ghost, so now we can rage it in a second to keep it alive, because look, if there's a rage down and the Lumberjack Evo is dead, they literally can't kill it. It doesn't take any damage. Look at that. I'm gonna rage it again, and he's gonna get 3 crowned. Bro, he's gonna get 3 crowned by a Lumberjack by itself. Oh my god. Yo.
Players started abusing this fast. Rage plus freeze loops, mirrored rage chains, Ghost Lumberjack slicing towers while the enemy couldn't even see him, let alone stop him. It felt like a horror movie. You defend the first Lumberjack, breathe for half a second, and then get shredded by his ghost. Supercell, of course, responded. They decoupled the ghost's duration from rage time and increased the evolution cycle to 2. That slowed things down, but didn't erase the threat. Because Evolved Lumberjack isn't a control card. He's not a support unit. He's a jump scare that took the form of a card. Silent, unstoppable, and, well, suddenly your tower's just gone. Number 19, Evolved Witch. When Evolved Witch was announced, no one was ready. The design looked simple, another healing evolution, 1 cycle, same spawn pattern. But the moment she entered the arena, the chaos began. Her gimmick? Every time a skeleton dies, any skeleton, not just her own, she heals. Not a little, a lot. 8 skeleton spawn, she heals 8 times. Drop a poison, she heals through it. Splash troops, they just feed her more. And before long, your kill spell becomes her personal med kit.
Oh no, I need to cycle to my rage. Where's my rage? Can I kill this witch before it heals up too much, please? Can it die? Hello? It feels like evolved skeletons. Like the way Witch is, it just feels like there's like evolved skeletons constantly spawning, even though like it's just normal skeletons, but like it's so broken, it just feels like it's evolved skeletons with every wave of Witch spawns.
She doesn't just heal though. She overheals up to 130% of her max HP. That means she doesn't just survive spells, she laughs at them. A perfectly timed Fireball plus Zap combo might work if you sync it frame perfect. Anything less, she shrugs it off and regenerates. In fact, under the right setup, she can survive lightning. Yeah, lightning. And it gets worse. She heals from any skeleton, graveyard, tombstone, barrel, even your own if you're not careful. Just not clones or Skeleton King summons. That means synergy decks like Giant Graveyard became terrifying. She tanks pushes while her skeletons heal her faster than you can damage her. She'll 1v1 a Valkyrie. She'll walk through an Executioner's Axe. One player even described her as mid-ladder's final boss. The only consistent counters? Rocket, Mini Pekka, maybe a perfectly timed bowler. But miss your timing and she'll tank through 3 Mini Pekka swings before dropping. And if there's a healer or rage behind her, good luck. On defense, she is still a bit frail if unsupported, but offensively, she is a nightmare.
Let's go for the Evo Witch here, and you guys are going to see, like, look, the Witch is above max HP right now. It's going to take some damage here from this Prince, but once my skeletons die again, the Witch is going to get all the way healed up. Okay, I'm just going to Tombstone here as well. And then once these skeletons are about to die, look, the Witch is starting to get healed. It's about to be full HP again. Look at that, guys. This is what I'm talking about. The Evo Witch is crazy. Okay, he goes for the Evo Mega Knight. Let's rage this. Dude, that Witch, it took a Mega Knight spawn-in damage, and it's more than full HP right now because of the overheal mechanic, like the Evo Pekka has. I'm going to Witch again. Let's scar me in the other lane, guys. And this is what I'm saying, dude. You literally can't kill this. With this combo that I have, I don't think it's possible to take out the Witch. I can just lightning his Witch away, and then we can rage up mine, and we almost have another Witch, but this is going to be the third Witch and the second Evo Witch. Look at this, guys. He might Mega Knight again. There's the Mega Knight. Let's Evo Witch. Look, it's still full HP. It hasn't taken a single damage. It's literally impossible to kill. We have 2 Evo Witches. He goes for a Skarmy. It doesn't matter because the skeletons are dying. Witch is already back at full HP, and we have another Witch, bro. Good game. This is absolutely insane, guys. I think this may be the most broken evolution yet. I'm not even kidding.
Supercell toned her healing slightly before launch, but even then, she remains one of the most busted evolutions we have ever seen. And the worst part, you don't just kill her. You have to out-heal her heals. And if that sounds crazy, you haven't even seen the Evolved Mega Knight yet. Which brings us to number 20, Evolved Mega Knight. At first, it felt like a joke. Then, it felt like a war crime. The first ever legendary evolution, and Supercell gave it to Mega Knight, the card everyone either loved or raged at. In this evolution, it didn't just turn him into a tank, it turned him into a wrecking ball. Here's the gimmick. Every time Evolved Mega Knight lands a hit, his main target gets yeeted 4 tiles backward. Yeah, yeeted. And yes, every time. You drop a troop, he'd uppercut it across the map, and then he would jump after it, land on it again, and repeat the process. It was like fighting a heavyweight boxer that could teleport. And somehow, he still had Splash. He'd knock back the main target while the rest of your troops just stood there, stunned, confused, and taking full damage anyway.
I've got another one. Yes, Mega Knight versus Mega Knight action. Yeah. Whoa! Whoa! What the fuck? And then it insta jumps. What? What? What?
He could reset pushes, throw tanks over rivers, and juggle win conditions like toys. In those first few days, nobody knew what to do. Pekka knocked back, Giant launched, even attempts to activate your King Tower got denied. That's because he redirected knockback toward your Princess Tower, no matter what.
Okay, I wonder if he goes for his own Mega Knight. Let's see. I'm gonna just go for my Prince. Look, look, look. It's like, bro, it's at his tower, and it knocked it back so far. My Inferno Dragon is being targeted. Look, gone, and now it's somehow behind the tower. And I took, bro, like, there's literally just no way. Like, it's literally behind the tower.
People thought the game was broken. It looked broken, and in some ways it kinda was. But then something surprising happened. players adapted. They learned to play behind him, baiting out his first hit, forcing him to waste his jump and setting traps just outside his knockback range. Cards like Mini Pekka, Cannon Card, and even Air Troops suddenly made a comeback. People figured out spacing, stalling, and cycle timings. Turns out Evolved Mega Knight wasn't unstoppable, he was just new. Today he is still strong, especially on defense, where he can disrupt entire beatdown pushes by flinging half your push backward. But he is far from broken. No more infinite chaos, no more win the game with one card moments. He's not a monster anymore, he's just Mega Knight with a mean uppercut. And after surviving him, you'll never fear regular Mega Knight ever again. Number 21. Evolved Pekka. She wasn't flashy, she wasn't fast, but for a moment, Evolved Pekka was the most terrifying thing in Clash Royale. She didn't just win fights, she thrived in them. Every time she got a kill, she healed for 12.5% of her max HP. Thanks to her long range of 1.6 tiles compared to 1.2 today, she always struck first. That meant goblins, free healing. Tombstone, that's a health pack. Even tanky units couldn't stop her because she'd strike early, clean them up, and walk away stronger than she started. In some matches, she didn't just defend. She'd solo a push, cross the bridge, and take your tower. Fully healed.
Really, really good. That's a balloon hit. 2? Oh, I barely didn't get 2 because he went for the arrows. I'll let those barbs go and then just go Ice Wizard because I am still barely hitting damage. I can get a nice Pekka down. Sorry guys, my dog is barking right now. I'm gonna NATO this. Bro, the Pekka's healing up so much. I think that normally the Pekka would have been dead by now. It's killed like 5 different units, so it just keeps healing and staying alive. Look at that Pekka. It's survived forever because of the Evo. Bro, and then it healed off killing the cannon card shield. It's still alive and it killed the ghost. Bro, Pekka is not real. If I just freeze, that's guaranteed tower down. There is literally no way that the Pekka literally... Oh, no. Ice Wizard. Okay, we're good. There is no way that the Pekka killed all of that and still walked away alive just because of the healing mechanic. It kept hitting everything and killing it in one shot, keeping it alive the whole time.
Supercell started nerfing that fast. In October, the healing was dropped to 10%, then in November to 7.5%, and in January, the healing was scaled to enemy HP instead of flat. February had her range cut back to 1.2 tiles, no more first strike edge, and finally in May, a minor healing buff, but nothing like her old self. So today, she's fair, balanced, and honest, but for that 1 month, Evolved Pekka was not a tank, she was a vampire, and every troop you dropped was just another meal. But a real story, it started long before Clash Royale, and ended in a place no one really ever expected. Tap this video to uncover the full untold history of the Pekka, from her Clash of Clans origins to her rise as one of the game's most iconic cards. Trust me, this is one story you don't want to miss. I'll see you there.